Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Go figure, get the figures, let's make about 8.
Cash rule, cash rule,
When worst come to worst, my peoples come first. I was hardly making George before I'd written a verse. Kept my mind straight, no hate, work with my ambition. Invested in my ideas, but nobody would listen. They told me I couldn't do it, so they think I could buy it. But they ain't even trying, ain't no need to deny it. Black continuity of hustle and grind. People been fighting centuries for lives like mine. Trying to look to a high power, but what I didn't see is the seed of success lies.
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I'm going to say what's happening to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm not going to be in here for too long, but I had to come in to help provide some clarity on an important topic that is that people are talking about now. A lot of people are talking about Charles Barkley and Charles Barkley's comments about the late Kobe Bryant, and just sort of, you know, how to contextualize what Barkley might have meant, what he might be trying to say about Kobe Bryant's legacy. Now, before I begin, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Twitter, please retweet this conversation, because a lot of people aren't talking about this. A lot of people certainly aren't going to talk about this the way we're going to talk about it, because we are the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're Black and intelligent, then this is the place for you. If you're not Black and intelligent, then you may want to get the fuck out. So anyway, as we move forward, here's the deal. I want to ask you guys a yes or no question. How many of you saw, give me a yes or no in the chat, yes or no, if you saw what Charles Barkley said about Kobe Bryant. Did anybody see what Charles Barkley said about Kobe this week? I'm going to grab my phone and do something real quick while you guys tell me if you saw Barkley's interesting comments about Kobe. Give me a yes or no if you saw this. So let's see here. I'm looking. No more fake lives. Well, those aren't fake lives. Actually, we do restreams on this platform. So sometimes we do lives that are, you know, where we're rerunning it so you guys can see it in case you missed it. So you can, because remember, the goal of the live is not just for you to hear from me. It's also for you to talk to each other and to engage with each other. So that's why we do restreams, because I want you guys to see it. But here's the deal. Okay, so Kobe Bryant, we know that he had the unfortunate accident last week with his daughter, and everybody's been pretty sad about it. I know I am. And it was really, really shocking, really unfortunate, kind of terrible. Well, here's the deal. Here's what happened. So after Kobe dies, of course, first thing racist media does is they go out and they pretty much just, you know, do a Trayvon Martin on him. We need to make it into a verb. It's called they Trayvoned him by basically, you know, with Trayvon, when Trayvon died and he was shot up by that crazy white man, George Zimmerman, whatever he is, Hispanic, whatever the guy is. And first thing they did was they went out and they said, okay, let's see if we can find something in this Black man's past, or this Black boy's past, in Trayvon's case, that's going to make him look bad, because we in America are not accustomed to seeing the Black man as the victim. We in America are only capable of seeing the Black man as a villain. We as America are only capable of seeing the Black man as a predator. And so, you know, so basically what they did was they went out and they found, I think, a couple images of where it looked like he might have been smoking weed or something, or a rumor that he was smoking weed or whatever. And they just, you know, they just do these stupid things, right? And so with Kobe, they did the same thing, except Kobe's a grown man. And so there's a lot more you could talk about when it comes to grown men, a lot more rumors and innuendos. Kobe was a Los Angeles Laker, which means that he was being chased by the ladies. He had, you know, if you ever want to be a groupie magnet, then just go become an NBA player, and you will have women just on top of women who are looking for you to victimize them so that they can then have a story that will get them paid, right? I'm not trying to say every victim is lying, but I am trying to say that there's a lot of liars within the pool of victims. And in fact, it's like a bank robbery. I remember watching a movie about a bank robbery, and the way the bank robbers got away from the bank robbery was they pretended that they were actually being held hostage. So when they went in and they let all the hostages out, the bank robbers took off their masks and got in line with all the other hostages and said, I'm a victim. Don't shoot. Please don't hurt me. I'm a victim, right? So ultimately, in situations like this, the stupid people believe people when they step forward and say, I'm a victim. The smart people, the intelligent Black people stop and say, wait a minute, hold on, wait. We need to know who the victim is in the first place. Who's the victim and who's the perpetrator? Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're a victim. Just because you're white doesn't mean you're automatically the victim. Just because you say you're the victim, that doesn't mean that it's so. We need to know who the real victim is so that we can figure out who the victim and who the perpetrator is. Now, as I move forward, some of you say I'm frozen. Give me a yes or no if I'm coming through fluidly, if you can hear me and see me okay. Give me a yes or no if you can hear me and see me okay. I'll do a quick internet speed test because these are important conversations, and this is not what you get in mainstream media because we don't do that shit. We actually have intelligent conversations, and my PhD is very, very real, and I've had it for a very long time, and I'm not a stupid person, and I really enjoy spreading my intelligence to the Black community. So in a way, like when it comes to intelligence, maybe that's my superpower. That's my superpower is the ability. Like Superman had X-ray vision, I can see through bullshit. So I have X-ray vision where I can see through bullshit, and I enjoy breaking down the bullshit so that y'all can get to the real shit. And if you can break through the bullshit and get to the real shit, then that allows you and your community to become the shit. So instead of miring ourselves and getting muddled in shit. So at the end of the day, it's all about the shit. Remember Tales from the Hood when the guy was like, the shit. Oh, the shit. Oh, we gonna get the shit, right? So we gonna get, if you want me to give you the shit, just type yes in the chat. If you want me to give you the shit, I'm about to give you the shit right now. So here's the deal. All right, so Kobe Bryant, he dies. First thing happens is white people start acting white. White people start, he was accused of something 188 years ago, and there was one white woman, there was a white female, sir, who says that he touched us, sir, and you're like, but she had semen from about 85,000 men in her panties. Like, does that mean anything? Well, no, sir, that's beside the point, sir. You're victim blaming, sir, and we know that there's a white woman, sir, who says that this here Negro engaged in some inappropriate actions toward this white woman, sir. And you're like, yeah, but she was on medication for schizophrenia, like she was butt naked crazy. Yes, but that's beside the point. You're victimizing, sir. You are blaming the victim again, sir. And you're like, yeah, but she admitted that she lied. Like she wrote a letter to the police saying that I'm sorry that I told this lie when you were investigating. No, sir, that has nothing to do with the issue. You're distracting from the issue. You're victim blaming. You're slut shaming, sir. So it gets real stupid. It got real stupid. And I'm gonna tell you how stupid it got. And I'm recapping so we can get to Barkley. I'm recapping because it was about the dumbest mindfuck I've ever seen in media. Like it was literally one of the most retarded mindfucks ever. Think about this. Gayle King attacks Kobe Bryant, which means she was attacking all Black men, basically saying that because a white female says that you did something, that means you probably did it, right? We don't know for sure that you did it. We didn't catch you red-handed. We don't have the evidence, but we know you did it. Wink, wink, right? And mind you, they could have asked him all these questions while he was alive. They never did. But as soon as he dies, they're like, okay, we got his ass. We're gonna go get him now. And that's, I guess that's the pattern now, right? The pattern is attack Black men when they're dead. Because Rick James, I think they just accused Rick James of rape. Last time I checked, Rick James ain't raping nobody. Rick James can't hurt nobody from the grave. But they claim that they're protecting victims by accusing dead Black men of rape, which is absolutely the most ridiculous, most ignorant stuff I've ever seen in my life. So, because if you're gonna go back in time and start accusing dead people of rape, then how about we start with all the white people who used to rape slaves on the plantation? In fact, I call a meeting, hear ye, hear ye. I call a meeting of the Council of Intelligent Black People, and I would like to take a vote real quick. I don't have my Vicky Dillard gavel, but I do have my fist. So my black fist is going to be my new gavel, and I'm going to hear ye, hear ye. I propose in the Council of Intelligent Black People that we post-mortem convict George Washington, the first president, of rape. There's evidence that George Washington raped many black women in his lifetime. Give me a yes or no if you think that that actually happened. He did. He did. He was a slave owner. George Washington kept black women. He kidnapped black women over the course of his life and kept black women against their will. Give me a yes or no if you agree that this happened, which it did. There's documentation. George Washington actually passed one of the first laws that said, if you're a slave and you escape and your child is born out of your body, that child is still a slave, even if you escape from the plantation. Did y'all know that George Washington passed laws that basically said, y'all can go get these niggas until they're dead. Like there's no expiration date on our right and ability to rape and torture black women and black men and black children, right? So I argue that since we out here trying to go and go after dead people, how about we start at the top? So I argue, I'd like your vote. Give me a yes or no if you vote, or give me guilty or not guilty. Do you, as the Council of Intelligent Black People, do you vote guilty that George Washington should be condemned as a rapist? Do you vote guilty or not guilty? Give me a guilty or a not guilty if you believe George Washington should be convicted as a rapist post-mortem. If we can go in and maybe find his dead body, dig it up, and put handcuffs on his skeleton and find his legacy, piss on it, and any statues of him, we can deface those statues and destroy them and pretend like he never existed. Guilty of, okay, it looks like he's, okay, by the power invested in me, by intelligent black people all around the world, I pronounce you guilty, son. Guilty, guilty. So whatever y'all believe Kobe's guilty of, then George Washington's guilty of 1,000 times that, because there's proof, number one, and number two, his impact of his crimes was far greater than Kobe or Rick James or Michael Jackson or any of these people you're trying to convict now. Not that they committed crimes, because again, you need evidence, but with George, we got receipts on that. So I want to just kind of lay out just the stupidity, the ignorance of what they're trying to do, right? So let's keep going. Do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button right now. Everybody, please hit the thumbs up button if you could. That helps us grow the channel. When you're putting thumbs up, when you're retweeting, when you're sharing, that really helps us grow. And also, if you want, so on the count of three, 1, 2, 3. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. Everybody share. Everybody hit the retweet button. Please do that. Also, I want you guys to know that I love to give you guys free stuff. We have a business, and some of these things in the business do have a cost. They don't cost you any more than what you're already giving white people. But in case you want free stuff, we like to give lots of free stuff. So if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Somebody type drboycewatkins.net and you can go get a free e-copy of my book right now. And right now we're trying to raise money for a lot of things. One of which is we're trying to raise money for independent Black-owned schools, because we believe that Black children should not be educated by their oppressor. I think that's a great first step in your liberation, is stop letting white people educate your damn kids, because they're screwing them up. That's just me being real. All right, so Barkley steps in, right? So Barkley steps into the conversation. So after Gayle King goes after Kobe Bryant, and the whole world went after Gayle King, and I was very proud of Black people for standing up and dealing with Gayle King the way they did. Gayle King was ratchet. She was ridiculous. Snoop, unfortunately, he tried his best to help out. But if you're going to help out, if you're going to say something, I think you got to stick by your words. Even if you say the wrong thing, you got to stick by your gun. So I think Snoop lost us a couple of points because Snoop gave them an opening to come back and make this about something that it wasn't about. Snoop, by him attacking Gayle the way that he did, calling her all those names and talking about, "We gonna come get you," it made the conversation something that it wasn't. It was never about a gender war. But remember, these people have an agenda. They're playing chess and you're playing checkers. So everybody who was cheering for Snoop, remember, if you go back and watch videos I made right after Snoop did his thing, I did a video with Vicky Dillard on FlyNewBeingQueenTV.com. And when Vicky and I were talking, one of the things I said is, I don't know if you guys want to get on board with what sounds like Snoop is threatening her. You don't want to get on board with that, because that wasn't necessary. That's going to cause them to come back and change the conversation. And a lot of people got mad at me. They thought, "Oh, you being a punk, Boyce, I'm looking at you with the side eye, Boyce. You ain't right." No, I was being strategic and being smart. And so smart, strategic people understand that you got to be focused. Thank you, DOD. You got to focus the conversation. So when Snoop made his remark, and then also it made it worse because he didn't even stand by what he said. I mean, if I was advising him first, I would have said, "Don't say it." But if he said it, I'd be like, "Okay, now that you said it, you got to roll with that. Like, that's where you at. You got to be ride or die with that shit. That means if Viacom calls you and says, we're about to cancel your show and you about to lose it all, you got to say, well, fuck all of y'all. All I'm gonna give you now is the middle finger. Like, you have to stick by your guns. You can't waffle. Muhammad Ali, when they were trying to lock him up, he didn't waffle. Malcolm X didn't waffle, but it cost him his life. Right? And so Martin Luther King didn't waffle. It cost him his life. Right? So the question is, when you take a stand like that, the question you must ask yourself is, am I really about that life, or am I going to waffle? Because if you waffle, then people will lose faith in you, right? So ultimately, the conversation got distracted, and the way the checkmate occurred, when they were able to say checkmate, motherfucker, on black men was when they got Snoop to apologize, and Gayle did not apologize at all. Tell me yes or no. Did anybody see Gayle King come back and say, I'm sorry for disparaging the images of black men. I'm sorry for assuming black men are guilty even when proven innocent. Am I sorry? I'm sorry for the way I insulted the community. Did Gayle King apologize at all? Because you saw Snoop. I ain't really never seen Snoop like that. I mean, Snoop was really like remorseful and sad, and he looked kind of, like somebody hurt his feelings or something. I was like, damn, what you all right, man? But Gayle was like, okay, thank you. Apology accepted, Negro. Like, that's what Gayle was like. I accept your apology because you victimized me, and you should apologize because what you did was wrong. And the lower tier one-dimensional thinkers. I want to call them dumb motherfuckers, but I try not to do that because that's kind of mean, because I got people that get mad at me because I'm so direct about what I say. So I'm going to say, so I'm not going to call them dumb motherfuckers, but the one-dimensional thinkers, the lower tier thinkers, the people who play checkers instead of chess, were making this into this whole, well, Snoop knew he was wrong. You know that you was wrong, Snoop, and what you said was wrong. So that's why sometimes you got to apologize when you know that you was wrong. Yeah, but you see, like Snoop said, two wrongs don't make a right. Well, sometimes you need a little bit of a wrong to correct a previous wrong. Like if I make a left, I gotta go right to correct the left. I can't go left after I go left again, because then I'll just be further left, right? So when there's an action, sometimes there must be a reaction that's in the opposite direction of the action. So at the end of the day, with Snoop saying that two wrongs don't make a right, but you need, maybe what you could probably say is, you gave me one wrong, and that gave you 1 point. I needed to give you one wrong to correct you and get us back even again, but instead I gave you 2 points back, right? So you gave me one ugly ass statement. You offended me one time. I offended you one time by telling you that you're on some bullshit, but then maybe I offended you another time by calling you out of your name. So I take back the second one, right? I over responded the second time, right? I might, like in military strategy, one thing they teach in military strategy is what they call proportionate response. Proportionate response basically means if somebody punches you, you punch them back. A disproportionate response is if they punch you and you pull out a gun and shoot them, right? That's disproportionate. That's too much, right? So maybe Snoop at worst was guilty of not giving a proportionate response to Gayle King's BS, right? But what happened was that because Snoop's response was disproportionate, she gave him a punch and he knocked her out. He stabbed her with a knife or whatever it is, right? Because he went extra hard. He could have said, I'm gonna reel back some of this, but I'm still holding you accountable for your original statement. So there's part of this that I'm not going to apologize for, part of this that I am. And I think that's what he meant. I'm going to go ahead and assume that's what he meant, but that's not what the media is going to see. So now that this has all happened, and they won, when I say they, I'm talking about all the enemies of black men, all the individuals. So, some of them are white folks, white liberals who think black men are filled with toxic masculinity and they only appreciate black men if they become either beta males or feminized men or gay, right? That's pretty much what they want black men to be. They won. The angry black women. You got angry black women out here. I think somebody forwarded me something where there's some angry black women sitting around on Valentine's Day talking about how much they hate me because I attacked Gayle. And honestly, if somebody said, well, think about this. Like, if you're talking about 4 women who ain't got nothing else to do on Valentine's Day except sit around and complain about a man, that probably means that they're lonely. That probably means they're going through it with their relationships, or they ain't got no man. So, like, okay, well, my heart goes out. I hope you find a man, right? So you got people that are enemies of black men that either because they're racist and they hate black people in general, or sometimes you got some black women who've been harmed by black men who really want to see us under the jail too, who want to see us in the grave also, who want to see us going down as well, who cheer when we are bloody and burning and falling off the goddamn bridge. Like, you got some sick ass black women out here who don't understand how you can process your pain and love black men at the same time. They kind of get into this whole, like, I'm going to partner up with the white man to destroy the black man. And those are women that are very dangerous for the community. So those are the people who saw the Snoop Kobe Gayle situation as one dimensional. They saw it as Snoop called her out of her name. Snoop said, I'm going to come get you. He threatened the old lady. Snoop needs to apologize because what Snoop did was wrong. That's the wrong way to look at it. It was much more complex than that, because remember, Gayle was the original predator, and Susan Rice actually threatened Snoop afterward. Give me a yes or no. Yes or no. Did Susan Rice apologize at any point? Yes or no. Did you at any point hear Susan Rice come back and apologize for pulling out the army? She said something about an army, like, we got an army and you will lose and it won't be pretty. Now remember, Susan Rice is a senior advisor to the Obama administration. She is connected to the CIA, FBI, NSA, and all the organizations that can do COINTELPRO on your ass. They can do surveillance. They can go pull up old charges. They can go and make you into an informant. Like, they can do all kinds of terrible things. So when somebody like Susan Rice says, we got an army and you're going down and it won't be pretty, that's not, to me, that's not an empty threat. And what I really found fascinating as well was that Susan Rice, at no point did I ever hear Susan Rice use language that fierce when it came to fighting white supremacy. Like, when she was working for Obama, did she ever say, we got an army and we're going to fight for black people and white supremacy, you going down and it won't be pretty? Like, how come the only time, I mean, you a high-ranking senior official in the Obama administration, and the only time you talk about pulling out your motherfucking army is on a black man? Process that with me for a minute. Let's marinate on that for a moment, please. Seriously, the only time I've ever heard you use language that strong, back the fuck off. We got an army. You going down. It won't be pretty. Only time you gonna get gangster is when you're going up against a black man. I ain't never seen you get gangster with white folks. You ain't never got that gangster with Bill Clinton, or, you know, when he used your ass and embarrassed you on the whole Rwanda situation. I don't know if y'all know, but one of the ugly skeletons in Susan Rice's closet is Rwanda. You know, a lot of people got slaughtered because Susan Rice and Clinton failed to act. Right? I don't know if y'all know this. Go look it up. Go do the research. Right? I'm not putting it all on her because we know how politics works, but I'm sitting here just saying, like, God damn, like, wow. It's amazing how sometimes when we talk to our own people, we'll say things and we'll behave in a way that we would never behave toward white people, because when white people come in the room, we suddenly get very polite. So anyway, let's move on. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Some of you are asking about this t-shirt. It's a little bit dirty, but it's a cool shirt, financially woke. If you want to get shirts like this, you can actually go to our t-shirt line. It's wokeblacktees.com. That's wokeblacktees.com. If you want to support the platform, let us sell you a shirt. We'd love to sell you a t-shirt. Again, we're not asking you for all your money. We just want you to give us a percentage of what you already give to white people. So if you spend money with white people, we just ask that you spend a little bit of money with a black business so that we can expand and grow and put the money back into the community and reinvest and to build and to grow. And we'll give you free things in exchange, and we will make your life better. You make our lives better. Everybody wins. That's what trade is all about. That's what reciprocity is all about. And also, if you want something just directly free, you can get a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, by going to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So let's move on to the next point. So after all the smoke settles and the dust is clear, and after white liberals and white media and, you know, white folks, and I'm talking about even white folks in blackface, because you got a lot of those, are coming out away with this false narrative, like that a black man attacked a black woman in public, and the black man was pressured into apologizing. Again, Kobe's been removed from the conversation. The original attack on Kobe's legacy is not being mentioned. Nobody's mentioning how attacking Kobe's legacy and assuming that he's guilty of rape just because of old raggedy ass wench. And when I say raggedy ass wench, I'm talking about a lady who had the semen from several men in her panties that week. I hope none of y'all, again, I hope this is not a sexist statement. This is not slut shaming. Well, scratch that. It is slut shaming, because if you're a slut, you're not going to be seen the same as a woman who's not, or a person who's not. I'm just telling you, I'm not saying it's slut shaming. I'm just saying that maybe there are some behaviors that can be questioned a little bit, or at the very least affect your credibility. You know, if you got semen from 4 men in your panties, you're not going to be treated the same as a woman who doesn't have semen from 4 men in her panties. I'm not saying that you're not worthy of love or you're not a human being. I'm just saying you're not the same. Like, that's it. You're just not the same. And it's okay to say that they're not the same and to say that it does impact the credibility. So after this all goes down, and the Root and a couple of white-owned outlets are basically creating this false narrative, which actually is not consistent with reality, Charles Barkley steps in. Now, Charles Barkley is interesting because, Willie D was on my channel the other day. Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. Willie D, a great brother, a strong human being. I love Willie. He's going to be in my wedding. Much respect for what he's doing as an activist in the world. Willie D has had an issue with Charles Barkley for a very long time. And so somebody said she ain't no Claire Huxtable. Yeah, yes or no? Would Claire Huxtable have semen from 4 men in her panties in the same? Like, would you expect that? Like, would you expect Claire Huxtable to, like, seriously, like, or to accuse somebody of assault and then have sex with somebody within a 24-hour period, like this lady did? She literally had sex with somebody the next day after she allegedly got, assaulted back. I'm just telling y'all the truth. You can do what you want with it. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you, like, if you have facts and you have truth on your side, you don't have to convince people of anything. I want you to convince yourself to go look for the truth. That's all I'm trying to do. If it wasn't true, I wouldn't be saying it. So anyway, so here's the deal. All right, so Barkley steps in. God damn. So I get a text from Charlemagne the God. Me and him text every now and then about stuff that's going on. So I want to give a shout out and give credit to Charlemagne for making me aware of this. So he texts me about Charles Barkley saying what he said about Kobe Bryant. I'm looking at the text right now. And we had some conversations about all of this. I can't reveal the nature of most of the discussions because I want to respect his privacy. And in case you want to know, like I said, even though I don't have to agree with somebody 100%, Charlemagne doesn't agree with me on everything. I don't agree with him on everything, but I respect people who are nice to me, who help me. You'll never hear me going out bashing somebody who used to help me. I think that's off code. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Somebody helped you out when you needed help, and then you go and talk shit about him. Like, I don't do that. So I'm not going to. So with Charlemagne, even if he could do something crazy and ridiculous, and I will tell you the truth, I'll tell you what I see, but I'm not going to go and be like, oh, Charlemagne ain't shit. Charlemagne's a piece of crap. Like, I'll never do that. So anyway, so this little text, he sends me a text about Barkley and Barkley saying this thing about Kobe. So Barkley comes in and Barkley says, I'm going to read his quote exactly so this idiot can be properly quoted. Now, Barkley, it's interesting. I remember going on this Stephen A. Smith show. It's called Quite Frankly with Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if you guys remember that show, but I remember that we were talking about Barkley, and I said, this was literally 14 years ago. I said, one thing I like about Charles Barkley is that he always says what's on his mind. And Stephen A. goes, yeah, I agree. He does. And I said, the problem is that there's never anything in his brain to begin with. So Charles will tell you what's on his mind, but Charles ain't exactly the brightest guy on the block. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I mean, I followed this man for a long time. I think a lot of times he makes sloppy, irresponsible remarks. Part of the reason that he has this opportunity on TNT and gets, and does this show, unfortunately, is because they like that. Like, they like the coon, clown, buffoon. They like to see the black man as kind of an idiot. Like, they don't like to see the black man as intelligent, right? So that's why a guy like me would be seen as threatening, whereas a guy like a Barkley is like friendly. He's like the friendly, jovial, big, fat, dumb idiot, right? So Barkley comes in and he makes this remark about Kobe, and which I thought was just real interesting. So he says, he talks about Gail's question to Kobe, and he says, you have to tell the picture in totality. We're not making Kobe out to be, shit. Sorry, I dropped my microphone. Sorry, guys. We're not making Kobe out to be no hero. We're celebrating his basketball excellence. We understand what happened in Colorado. That's fair, but two things can be true. He later added, quote, Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest basketball players ever. And listen to this. And he had a flaw that we all know about. Now, I want you to kind of linger on that last part real quick, because I'm going to decompose that a little bit for you. When he says, and he had a flaw that we all know about, two things went through my mind. One is it makes me think about the personal relationship between Barkley and Kobe. A lot of times you'll see celebrities that all are in the same profession. Maybe they play the same sport, but they may not always be friends. They may hate each other behind the scenes, but pretend to be buddies out in public. Like, you ever see the Obamas when they're with like Hillary, and just 2 months earlier, Bill and Hillary, or or whatever said some horrible shit and they're really pissed off at them, but they always pretend like they're friends. So there's a lot of pretending that happens in the public eye. I'm just going to say that. In fact, I have to get caught up in that sometimes. Sometimes somebody that I'm on code with or that is my ally does something that really makes me mad, but I don't say anything because I don't want to distract the conversation. I don't want to create something. So you're just kind of like, I can't stand that, you know, or whatever, right? But you have to, you kind of, sometimes you have to pick your battles, right? So I'm thinking that perhaps there was something in life that Barkley and Kobe had with each other that was reflected in that statement. Second thing that went through my mind was, I remember when Bill Cosby, had his shit, when Bill Cosby was not where he is now. And he made a comment about the Osbourne family and said something about the Osbournes and how they their show was inappropriate or whatever, that they were using that foul language, or, Bill Cosby pretending to be holier than thou, which honestly he wasn't. I'm a fan. I mean, I'm a supporter of Cosby because I don't think he should be dying in prison for allegedly touching a lady's boob when he paid her $3 million and there's no proof. I don't think he should be in prison right now because he's 80 something years old. He can't hurt nobody. Let the man go die at home in peace. Like I that's how I feel about Cosby. But one of the mistakes Cosby used to make was he would be very self-righteous. He would go criticize and judge other people. And so I remember Sharon Osbourne came back and said something like, you have the nerve to talk with all the stuff that we know that you do with women, right? So there's always a conversation about Barkley having, it's not Barkley, sorry, scratch that, Cosby having like this secret life that nobody knew about, or a few people knew about. Harvey Weinstein, same thing. There were rumors about Harvey Weinstein. That's why Oprah and Gayle have to be held accountable for what they knew about Weinstein. Because even I knew about Weinstein, and I'm not even in Hollywood. So if I knew about Weinstein from Dame Dash is the one who told me about what he saw with Weinstein. So if Dame is telling me things about Weinstein, then I know Oprah had to know these things too. But they just overlook them because they tend to side on the rich and the powerful. That's what they tend to kind of lean toward, right? So if you got enough money, then you're always right, no matter what you do. Right? That's kind of the Oprah Gayle rule. That's how they got to be successful. So with that said, with Barkley, the third thing that Barkley's comment made me think about was, where's this coming from? Like, how dare you say that this is a flaw? Like, what flaw are you referring to? Like, can you please explain? Like, explain, motherfucker. Like, what are you really trying to say? Like, I don't understand. Like, and I want to lay this out. I want to make this 100% clear because Barkley, in his, sometimes seemingly eternal ignorance, makes a statement that actually is a godsend for somebody like me. I'm glad Barkley made that ignorant ass statement because it gives us an opportunity to challenge this motherfucker in a way where we can basically say to all those people who thought we were only challenging Gayle because she's a woman, that no, this is not about gender. This whole Gayle King challenge was not about gender. This whole Gayle King challenge was about the fact that Gayle and Oprah have a history of having blinders on, of going into white media and vilifying black men and ignoring everybody else. This is about Gayle and Oprah having power. They weren't two little victims, like two little Beckys that just got attacked by black men. Like, oh my God, Gayle needs security now, and she's so traumatized. Right? That was all a game. That was the scary black man game that is used in courtrooms all across America to get black men convicted, because first thing they do is when a powerful black man is being taken down on an allegation and they're trying to get money, the Gloria Allreds, who basically work for both sides, is if you pay them enough, the Gloria Allreds of the world, first thing they tell these white women is they say, make sure you cry. And they tell them to go cry so that when they're on camera, the crying will make people feel sorry for them. And then the person will write a check to say, please just stop crying. It's almost like your woman, like I had a girlfriend in college. I told you about my horrible girlfriend in college. Like, she was just she's a really mean lady. And but one day she did confess to me. She said, sometimes, I'll cry if I want to get what I want. And it's true. Like, if you're like a nice guy, like I was a dumb nice guy, I'd be like, no, I'm sorry. Like next thing you know, you ever go through that where your girl starts crying? Next thing you know, you're apologizing when she actually started the shit, when she did something, but you're apologizing. And so in a way, so the man gets accused and the lady's crying, and they're like, okay, I'll write you a big check. Just please stop crying. Don't cry on TV anymore because I'm gonna lose my endorsements, right? So that's just you know, that's what it is. That's what Oprah was doing. Oprah was playing that game because she knows that game better than anybody, right? Oprah's not a wimpy little powder puff. Oprah's a boss. Oprah's a boss with $3.5 billion in the bank. She ain't nobody's little victim, right? But she played the game because she knew that it would work. She understands white media better than white people do. So with that said, you know, with Barkley, I'm glad Barkley made this statement because I want to make it 100% clear that the criticism of Gayle was not based on gender. The criticism of Gayle was based on the fact that you made an inaccurate remark about this man's legacy that was not fact-based. And also, when you're attacking Kobe in that way, you're kind of attacking all Black men. You're kind of basically saying all Black men are guilty even when proven innocent, not until proven innocent, because even when they get proven innocent, people will still walk away with whatever assumption they wanted to make about this guy, and the media will run with that. That's why Gayle and CBS are being sued for $400 million by Justin Fairfax, the former lieutenant governor of Virginia, who had an old allegation, like when he was much younger as a young guy, like just getting his start off in his career. So they go back and grab some shit from the early 2000s and that wasn't proven, had no proof whatsoever. And they use that to derail his ability to become governor of Virginia. So Justin, you know, God bless him, filed a lawsuit. Not to say that he's a perfect man. Nobody knows if he's perfect or imperfect, but shit, I mean, you can say that about anybody. Do I know if Gayle King has ever raped someone? Maybe she has. Maybe there's somebody out there who might come and make an allegation, and then I can have them on the show and say, so tell me about the time that Gayle raped you. What was that like? And, you know, that would be ridiculous. That would be crazy for me to do that. But seriously, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she could put a strap on, and maybe they could be like, oh, she strapped herself up and she went in and it was terrible, right? Or Gayle touched me. She touched my titty and I didn't give her permission. Like, anybody can make that kind of accusation against anybody. And when you're operating without any basis of proof, you kind of get to the point where people like myself and yourself, those who are watching, a lot of you are in this category who have logic and common sense, get very, very confused. Get very confused, and they say, it doesn't make any sense. How do you even operate in this way? You know, and you see this everywhere. Like all of us see it. If you're a Black man, it's very easy for somebody to go out in public and say the Black man did it, and everybody will believe them, because fundamentally as a nation, we believe Black men are inherently bad. We believe Black men are inherently evil. We believe Black men inherently should be exterminated. And so therefore, that's why it's easy to go out and say the Black man did it. Like that little British girl. Remember that video, that 3-year-old British girl? Yes or no? Tell me yes or no if you saw that video, where the little 3-year-old girl was telling lies, explaining how somebody stole the cookies and where the cookies went and all this other stuff. And at the end of her little story, like that, because her mom's just going along, she's laughing because the little girl's making all this shit up. And at the end, the little girl goes, and the Black man did it, right? So this is global. Like, this is global among all gender and ethnic backgrounds. Like, if you just say the Black man did it, then that's a get out of jail free card for anybody out here. Any old debaucherous piece of shit person can basically say a Black man did it. Like, I've had people where I fired them. I fired them because they were terrible to work with, or I didn't want to be associated with them anymore. And they would go out on the internet and say, Boyce Watkins is a terrible person because he was mean to me. He's right. We're out to, you know, help this person out, helped them pay the rent, sent them money, you know what I mean? Gave them an opportunity when nobody else would. But basically what they're doing is they're leaning on this old adage that says the Black man did it. Right. And then people that are like, yeah, a Black man hurt me when I was young too. I hate Black men too. Yeah, of course that motherfucker did it. And they'll be like, yeah, but Boyce seems like a nice guy sometimes when he's talking. Like, I don't see yeah, but that's all a facade. He's just pretending. Deep down, he's just a dirty ass nigga, because all of them deep down are just dirty ass niggas, right? So it's not just white people that do this. You also have some damaged Black people that do this, right? And so ultimately this idea that the Black man is the villain, the Black man is bad, the Black man is, if you're a Black man in this room and you've been accused of some shit you didn't do, whether it was something serious like an assault, or if it was something mild like emotional abuse, he was emotionally abusive, right? I'm not saying that's not real. I'm not saying people don't get emotionally abused, but if you've ever been accused and you didn't do it, raise your hand. If you know a Black man who's been falsely accused of something, say I. Just say something in the chat so that we can speak up for those who don't have a voice. The Black man doesn't really have a voice. That's why I use my voice as much as possible, because I speak up for the Black family. I speak up for the Black community. I speak up for the Black men. I speak up for those who love Black men. And I speak up for the Black women who are also disrespected in our society, which is why I challenge the Snoop Dogs and other people, because I was challenging Snoop 25 years ago when he was running around saying we don't love them hoes. I never liked that. I never liked the disrespect of Black women, right? So seriously, like, this is a global phenomenon, the Black man did it kind of thing. I want you to just, here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to walk away with from this discussion. Anytime somebody says a Black man did something, all I really need you to do is look for some evidence. Try to discern between the situations where somebody actually has proof, like, okay, he beat me up. Here's pictures of me with a black eye, or he stole my money. Here's a police report or something that shows that he was guilty of stealing my money, not accused, right? Because you can accuse anybody of anything, right? Well, look for something to grab onto. And I want you to also notice how often people will make these accusations and have nothing to lean on. They're just assuming you're going to believe it because it was a black man, right? So going back to this, that whole like the black man did it thing isn't just used by white people though. Sometimes it's used by black women, and sometimes it's even used by some black men. Going back to the point I made earlier, Gayle King and Oprah, their whole MO, how they got to be so successful, how they got the extra butter biscuits with syrup on the side and all the money in the bank is because they lean in the direction of wealth and power. Michael Eric Dyson, I saw him last night. I went to a Jordan brand party. I got invited because I happen to know I know the brothers who ran the Jordan company. The CEO, I happen to be cool with him, but it's like it's not on a business tip. Like I've critiqued the Jordan shoes and overspending on shoes and all that quite often, but I like the CEO, Larry Miller. He's not the CEO anymore. So I got invited to the party. I was very happy to attend. It was really interesting to observe. But when I talk to Larry, we don't really talk about stuff with the sneakers. We'll talk about his background in the Nation of Islam, or we'll talk about the black community. He knows I advocate for the black male, which ultimately makes me a little bit threatening, I think, and dangerous, but I respect him for the fact that he can look past that, and we are friends. But anyway, so I was at this party and I saw Dyson, and I didn't talk to him. I don't dislike Dyson. I just didn't know. I don't really want to hurt his feelings or anything. But I think with Dyson, unfortunately, the challenge that I've had to make is, when he made the remarks about Gayle King, I knew what he was going to say before he said it, right? Because there are certain people in the society where, by virtue of the fact that they've been able to achieve so much success within white supremacist organizations, that tells you that they tend to lean in the direction of wealth and power. So those who are in the space of a Gayle King, who can benefit from a Gayle King, who have a relationship with Gayle King or with CBS, they're not going to challenge a Gayle King. Like Gayle King could, like Trump used to say when Trump said, I could walk down the street and shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and nobody would care. Gayle King could walk down the street on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and there would be people that would still say, I stand with Gayle, right? And because the black man is seen as not just threatening and dangerous, but also just the weaker party in most interactions in the courtroom or in the court of public opinion, nobody really sides with the black male. It takes like people have to really know who they are and really be ready to be kind of ride or die to kind of say, I stand with the black male. I'm going to challenge wealth and power on behalf of the black male. So when you saw the divide in terms of the reactions, you could almost predict it before it even happened. So I think that with Barkley, what you're hearing with Barkley kind of talking about Kobe, I don't know what Barkley meant. Maybe he can clarify. Again, I told you guys I'll never talk about anybody on this channel without them being welcome to come in and defend their point of view. So if Barkley ever wanted to come in and tell me what he meant, I would be happy to have him on. But I will say that when Barkley made that comment about the flaw, when he said, a couple things stood out. When he said, and he had a flaw that we all know about, I'd like to just ask him, what flaw? Like, what flaw are you referring to? Like, is the flaw that he got accused by a gold digger of rape where there was no proof? Like is that the flaw? Like that he was a victim? Are we victim blaming now? What's the flaw? What he slept with a woman? People sleep with women all the time. Maybe you could say, now this is not, I will go with this actually. You could say maybe his flaw was that he slept with this woman he only met 45 minutes earlier and he was cheating on his wife, right? You're not supposed to. You get married, you're not supposed to do that, right? But that's between him and his wife. That's how I saw it. But I did think I was a little bit concerned, with Kobe, in the sense that I was thinking, here it is just a few years after Magic Johnson, had his little issue with the STD, right? You know what I'm talking about? And you're sleeping with a woman you met 45 minutes earlier. And from what I've seen, the reports say that there was no condom used. That's probably the part where I would probably talk to Kobe and say, come on, man, like you can't do this, like that's not the wisest decision for your life. So if you want to talk about that as a flaw, I could see that. But if the flaw is that he raped somebody, then you need proof of that. You need to prove that he actually did that. You can't just assume that he might have done it just because she said he did it. Her credibility was worse than Kobe's, right? So that part stood out to me. And there's another part here. I'm gonna pull it up. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. And I want to remind you guys real quick, if you want to support the platform, and also we're having a private Q&A on Monday. Members of our League of Intelligent Black People are invited to the private Q&A. Since the group is smaller, I can answer every single question, and I'll be there just to solely answer questions. So if you'd like to be a supporter and get invited to the private group meeting, you can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. All right, so he says, now here's another part that he says here that's really interesting. He says, we have to tell the picture in totality. Okay, so I think it's okay to tell the story about Kobe's accusation, but it's not okay to talk about it as if it might be true. It was not proven. There was no truth to it. You can't a rape accusation is so heavy that you can't deliver that until you have like adequate evidence. He says, we're not making Kobe out to be no hero. Okay, I don't know what that means exactly. Could go either way. He says, we're celebrating his basketball excellence. I agree. Then he says, we understand what happened in Colorado. That's fair, but two things can be true. Okay, so we understand what happened in Colorado. I think what I would like to know is, what do you understand that happened in Colorado? Like when you say we understand what happened in Colorado, here's what I understand what happened in Colorado. I understand that Kobe was accused of something and there was no proof. And as a result of the fact that there was no proof, she did not testify. And Kobe paid money because he wanted to make the case go away. There's a good chance he just wanted the case to go away. And he apologized. He did not apologize for an assault. He apologized for any confusion that might have been caused, because the accusation of assault is kind of a blurry thing. Like, you can see somebody walking away from a situation like Russell Simmons. Salah Abrams was one of the accusers of Russell Simmons. And I know Salah, and I know about Salah's history of drug addiction. I know about Salah's history of really kind of getting around. Like Salah had, when we were friends, we would talk. I remember just hearing a lot of stuff where I was like, wow, okay, you've had an interesting life, and that was it. I didn't judge, but it was like, wow. But I didn't go near her. I didn't go near her in a romantic capacity because I saw some issues there. I'll just say that. But when she says that Russell Simmons did this to me, her story was, I was drunk. I had been drinking, so that's why he's a rapist. Well, that doesn't make sense, because if he was drinking and you touched his penis, then that would mean that you're a rapist, right? If he was drinking and you pulled his shirt off or touched his, any part of his body, we could say that you assaulted him as well, right? So this whole idea that like, because I was drinking, then I must have been assaulted. I think most normal people think that that's a crazy thing to say. Like that doesn't even make any sense to a lot of people, right? Because you chose to drink, you chose to do what you're going to do. It is what it is, right? So ultimately, I think that with Colorado, when Barkley says, I understand what happened in Colorado, my question will be, what do you understand? And when you say two things can be true at the same time, what two things can be true? That Kobe is a great basketball player and that he's a rapist, or that Kobe is a great basketball player and that he was falsely accused? I think that those two, the second category is correct, right? That Kobe was a great basketball player and he was accused in a way that wasn't proven, which means that we have to assume that there's nothing there. If there is something there, then it should have been brought up. It should have been brought to court. The fact that it wasn't brought to court and he was not convicted means that we must treat him as an innocent man. That's the way the legal system's supposed to work. So Barkley, not only was he wrong, but Barkley, if you recall, I mean, Barkley has his own history. Barkley, anybody remember? Give me a yes or no if you remember when Barkley was locked up for throwing the guy through the plate glass window. I don't know. Give me a yes or no if you remember Barkley getting locked up for drunk driving because he was going to see some lady or something, and he said, I'm on my way to go get a blowjob or something. Do y'all remember that? This is all in the news. This is all over the news when it happened. So Barkley's got his own flaws, and Barkley, in fact, if you talk about public image and the way you conducted yourself publicly, I would definitely say that Kobe actually had a much better image than Barkley has, even to this day. Barkley, I think, has a job because they kind of know who Barkley is, and they kind of know that Barkley's just this ignorant dude who's going to say some buffoonish shit, and they just accept that because he's kind of like the clown. And, but I mean, and in fact, when I look at that TNT thing, I sometimes feel that way a little bit about Shaquille O'Neal. I've seen Shaquille O'Neal, one of my favorite players of all time. Sometimes he coons out a little bit, and they like that. Like they like to see black men acting like a joke. Like a black man is rarely a black man. If you ever want to be rejected by white supremacist organizations, be a black man who is intelligent and serious. Like if you're in advocating for the black community, if you're intelligent, serious, and advocating for the black community, chances are you're not going to get a job like that, right? The best ways to get jobs like that typically are if you're a black man who's funny, like if you're a clown or a comedian. They like comedians because comedians are safe. Comedians allow white people to get over their fear of the black man. So they're like, oh, well, he's, yeah, he's big and black, but he's gonna tell me jokes all day. So, so when I need a clown, I'm gonna bring the black man in. But when I need to talk serious about serious stuff, I'm gonna put him out with the children because he's not a grown up like me. He's not intelligent like me. He's not strategic like me. He's not a visionary like me. He's just the clown, right? Other examples are maybe if he's an athlete, or a couple more, right? So basically, if he's feminine or gay, then that fits as well, right? Because then he's not a threat. So unfortunately, Shaq and Barkley kind of play the clown role on TNT. Kenny Smith, I like Kenny Smith. I had never seen Kenny Smith conduct himself as a clown, and I think that's great. I have nothing to say negative about Kenny Smith. Chris Broussard's on Fox Sports. He's come on this channel. And that's what I love about Chris, is that he's a strong, serious black man. Sometimes he might say stuff I don't agree with, but I don't believe in cancel culture, so I'm not going to cancel somebody from one statement. But you remember Chris also almost lost his job because he didn't allow them to kind of break him down and make him look stupid. He actually advocates for black men and doesn't apologize for that. And so, at the end of the day, I think we have to kind of understand the game we're playing and understand Barkley, again, by virtue of where he is, his position in society, he's going to lean in favor of Gale every day of the week because, again, Barkley isn't going to see the damage to the image of the black man that occurs when you're allowed to go on CBS and just act like Kobe Bryant raped somebody. Because if they can do this to Kobe Bryant, then the regular black man out here doesn't have a chance. I mean, think about this. Kobe Bryant was worth $600 million and was one of the most beloved athletes on earth. That's what saved him. That's what saved Kobe, is the fact that Kobe has celebrities that will step up and back him up. LeBron James made a tweet in favor of Kobe because he knew Kobe as a basketball player. Unfortunately, most of these celebrities would not make a tweet in favor of a random black man who's being falsely accused, like Albert Wilson. Albert Wilson's 23 years old and just got 12 years in prison. And he was alone with this lady for 5 minutes. And he basically she said, oh, he raped me, which actually, first of all, he didn't. He never penetrated her. But of course, you don't have to penetrate to be accused of rape. But there's no evidence at all. And his story, it was her word against his. He said, we were at my apartment for 5 minutes and I wanted to go back to the club. I wanted to walk back to meet up with my friends. And she wanted to have sex with me. And I told her no. So she got mad at me because I told her no, right? So basically it's his word against hers. And of course, they're going to take her word because nobody believes the black man. Everybody believes the white woman's accusation against the black man, or anybody who accuses the black man of anything, they're going to believe the accuser, and because the black man has no credibility. So at the end of the day, Albert Wilson goes to jail for 12 years. And I kind of want you guys to make sure that you know about those cases too. In fact, the hashtag is a free Albert Wilson. I hope you guys will go look up Albert Wilson, look up his case. Please share his case, because my heart really goes out for this poor young black man sitting in a jail some damn where. I cannot imagine how he must feel. He was in college. I talked to his best friend. His best friend said that, Albert's not even a guy who hits on a lot of girls, like kind of how Lisa Leslie was explaining that Kobe wasn't real aggressive with women. So he's not even somebody you would even think would be accused of something like that. Albert Wilson was like that. Albert Wilson was very, very shy. And so for him to be in prison and accused of one of the worst crimes in our society, it has got to be absolutely shocking for him. And so I just to be 100% abundantly clear, the reason I've spoken on this issue so many times, and the reason I brought it up, I mean, I know people have gotten to the point where they're like, damn, Boyce, why you keep talking about it? Well, I'm gonna keep talking about it until we fix the motherfucking shit. Like, I'm not gonna just talk about shit just to talk about it. I talk about it because we need to fix it. We need to act on it. And so at the end of the day, I'm not talking about this just for Kobe. I'm not really worried about Kobe, to be real with you. Like, I'm not really sitting around like, oh my God, Kobe's like, I'm sad for him. I'm sad for his wife, but that's one family. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of families going through the same damn thing. And none of y'all don't care about that. So I'm here to train you, convince you, persuade you, plead with you to also care about those families in addition to the Kobe Bryants. Kobe was worth $600 million. His family's good. His kids are going to be good. They're gonna feel some pain, absolutely, but there's enough pain to go around to everybody. So in addition to thinking about the Kobe Bryants, I want you to also think about, some little girl who's 9 years old, who's crying herself to sleep every night because her daddy got locked up on a BS charge, on a weed charge, when she was 1 year old, right? And she's getting bullied at school every day. She's suicidal. She's some older man's trying to have sex with her because she's 9 years old. Her mom is at work all the time and she doesn't know the difference, right? Like these things are happening right now at this moment. And I really think you've got to kind of soul search and dig deep. And when you care about this issue, you must know why you care, right? So when I think about Kobe and why I'm so diligent about this issue, it's not because of just Kobe Bryant. It's because of what's happening to Black families all across this fucking earth, especially right here in the United States, but it's happening all around the world. So that's my 2 cents on it. And I think that at the end of the day, we eventually will win these battles. I think that when it comes to the Gayle King thing, they got a checkmate because unfortunately Snoop, I don't trust celebrities a lot of times because I don't feel like celebrities are really ready for those kinds of fights. These fights that might cost you lots of money, that might, ruin your public brand, things like that. And so when Snoop lent himself to the fight, I thought it was great, but I felt like he got overzealous, almost like if you're thinking about declaring war on a country and you got a bunch of commanders and a bunch of leaders in a room, and the people who want to fight the most, who are the biggest warmongers, are the people who've never actually gone to war, right? But the people who've actually served, who've actually fought in a battle, who've actually had to kill somebody and almost been killed, they're the ones who are like, whoa, slow down. And the person who's never been in a battle is like, no, you're a coward. We need to go to war. Right? But you're not going to war. You've never been to war, right? Like, so that's why I think, for example, with war, the only people that should be allowed in our country to vote on whether or not we go to war should be people who've actually been to war. Unless you've known what it feels like to be a soldier with a fucking gun sitting across the fucking earth 10,000 miles away from your family, ready to get your head blown off, unless you've been in that position, you have no right to vote on whether or not our country goes to war. Most of these bastards in Congress who vote on whether or not we go to war are congressmen who have never been to war, they've never been in the military, and they would never send their own children, but they'll send your kids in a minute. So I feel like with the same thing goes with a lot of celebrities, and again, it's not even a diss on Snoop. It's just to say, like, a lot of that talking, like, we might come get you and you raggedy head, nappy head bitch, like, that's entertainment. Like, that's entertainment talk, because unfortunately for Snoop Dogg, his whole entertainment career was built off of an extreme amount of disrespect for women. I mean, I'm just going to keep it 100 with you guys. I mean, he brought 2 women to an award show on a leash, right? So sometimes when somebody's your ally, it's kind of like, we don't really know if we really want, we don't need you out front. We don't need you being the leader of this, right? You can be part of it, but we don't know if we need you to lead it, because what's going to happen is they're going to start focusing on you as opposed to focusing on the cause. So, let's focus on the cause. And so if anything else develops from this, I am going to talk about this. And if it's something that, if you're tired of me talking about it, then it's okay. You don't have to watch. You can go watch another channel. We got the Black Financial channel. All I do is talk about financial topics there. But as I told you guys, I'm not a finance professor who happens to be a Black man. I'm a Black man first who happens to be a finance professor. So if you agree with me, if you believe that you are Black first and Black people should come first, let's remind ourselves of who we are and type B1 in the chat. Everybody type B1 if you put Black first, if you believe Black people should be at the top of the pile, if you believe that we should be at the top of the food chain, if you believe that our issues should be the first issues, type B1 in the chat so that we know that we're on the same page, because that's where I'm at. That's where I think that's what's going through my mind every day when I'm talking to you guys. All right, guys. So do me a favor, before you go, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, some of you asked about this shirt. If you'd like to get a shirt like this, we'd love for you guys to wear some cool Black shirts and take pictures and hashtag it. Maybe hashtag it with Dr. Boyce Watkins or something like that. That way I can find it. Go to wokeblacktees.com. That's wokeblacktees.com. And also, if you want to get a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, we have some stuff that you can buy that doesn't cost a whole lot, but we also have free stuff. I like to give you free stuff. So my book is totally free. You can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So not only will you get the free book, but also I'll send you financial advice and information and stuff like that on a regular basis. I have a PhD in finance, so my head is full of all kinds of interesting financial information. I actually did a video the other day. I actually had a thought, and I'm gonna do a video on it. But I actually wanted to explain, like, why, even though I'm glad I have a PhD in finance, if I were 20 years old, I wouldn't have done that. That would not have been my career path. I'm glad to have the PhD, but it took a long time. And if I could go back and be 20 years old again, actually, I would have studied 3 things. I would have studied entrepreneurship, real estate investing, and how to invest in the stock market. And I probably would have been a millionaire by the age of 25. So if I could do it over again, that's what I would have done. But since I got the PhD, I want to share it with you. So feel free to sign up at drboycewatkins.net, and there's tons of free stuff. So don't let anybody tell you the Black Business School is expensive or costs too much, because we give you more free stuff. You get more value from our free stuff than you got from the $100,000 you spent going to a white man's college. And so, so we hope that by wowing you with the free stuff, that you'll also consider investing in us the same way you invest in everybody else and everything else. So we're here. We love you. Have a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon. And thank you for listening. I'll see you later. Peace.